Napoli fans around the world. Oh man, I don't even know, guys, how to comment this game. You guys are gonna have to help me out here. I don't even know. Honestly, I'm speechless. I'm speechless. How is it possible? How is it possible, guys, to lose 4-0? 4-0 against Frosinone. Okay, guys, but here we go. I'm here for therapy. Can anyone make me feel better? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I can, man. I don't know if I can. Out of out of this 4-0 and the Milan 4-0, this one hurts more. Honestly. Honestly, guys, this one hurts more because you're against a much weaker team in a game that the stadium turned up for. The crowd was there on a Tuesday night for a stupid Coppa Italia game, and you go and you lose 4-0 in front of them. And right off the back of a win that was supposed to give us some boost, some motivation, now I think that the atmosphere is going to be three times worse than than ever before this year, almost. I mean, I don't know. I say almost because I don't know. I mean, after the Empoli game with Garcia, it was pretty bad, but now it's bad. Matthias says, "Is this is what it's like to be a Man United fan? Is this what it's like to be a Man United fan?" Man, just when you think you can't get more disappointed, just and all eyes are on us, man. I mean, we've picked Barcelona in the Champions League draw. All of those guys will have been watching this game. Uh, it's incredible. Let me hear what Mazzari has to say.
Sono sentito il commento di Massimo, Mauro, non so, ma io non ricordo entrato e ho fatto quello che è stato meglio quando c'erano i ragazzi che giocano meno. Quindi
So he's saying, we played better when the other guys were on the field, when not the starters but the other guys. Let's see what else he says.
questo
He says he's sad for the fans that helped us until the very end of the game. I'm mostly sad for them.
mi ricordo, anche un tiro, diciamo, esterno difensivo. Poi vabbè, c'è stato l'incidente del 2-0, ma anche sul 2-0 bisogna essere il Napoli, insomma.
Then he says about how this is Mazzari speaking. Then he says how we screwed up the corner. We didn't build the zonal marking properly, and then after that there was a mistake by Di Lorenzo for the 2-0. But even then, no excuse. We should still be behaving like Napoli. But Carmelo Frazetto is saying blah blah blah. Let's see what more blah 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 Mazzari says.
E lo sbaglio, essere demoralizzati perché si è fatto due errori effettivamente particolari, perché fino a quel momento beh, sarà fatta anche una buona gara con quelli che giocano meno. E
Same thing. Up until the two goals, we were playing well, but then we made those two mistakes.
perdere 4-0, sembravamo una che andava per conto suo, ma non va bene. E questo spero ci serva da lezione per il futuro perché da domani insomma bisogna guardarsi un pochino in faccia e cambiare le registrazioni.
From tomorrow, we need to look at ourselves in the face and we need to change the way we go about things because this is not enough. So, what Rabona TV's in the house, guys. I'm just listening to Mazzari live and then we'll get to the analysis.
Osimhen Kvaratskhelia. No, ma io ecco, questo probabilmente un po' sai, si gioca tanto, ci sapeva partite importanti. Non so se lasciandoli in panchina magari ha dato un segnale per la Coppa Italia che comunque tenere.
And there you go. This is what I tweeted, guys. This is what I tweeted. Mazzarri says, I don't know if by putting the starters, so many starters on the bench, I gave the signal that the Coppa Italia was not important to us. And I mentioned that on Twitter. I said, this is the second or third year in a row that Napoli's playing the Coppa Italia in the round of 16, gets eliminated, and they happen to get eliminated when the starters actually come on for the guys that started the game, because the starters come on and they're not hyped up for it. They're not concentrated. You know, for the guys that started the game that are not the typical starters, for them, this was actually a great opportunity to show their skill, to show their worth, get some minutes, impress the new coach. And I don't think they played that bad. I don't think they played that bad. And then the starters come on in the 60th minute. Guys, it was nil-nil until the 60th minute. The starters come on to try to win the game, and bam, we lose 4-0. How does that? But again, it's because, as I said, guys, football, I say this all the time, football is so much about psychology. You put 11 starters on the bench, you give out the signal to these guys that this game is not important, they don't need to be hyped up for it, and all that. And that's what happens. That's what happens. They come on, and instead of making your team better, they're actually there making it worse, because at this level, even between teams like Napoli and Frosinone, your motivation, your character, all these things that go into a 90-minute game matter. They really do matter. So yeah, Bobby Marley says not everybody can play their bench like Inter. I mean, to some extent, as I said, it's not even valid the comparison, because it's the starters that lost us this game, guys. Um, Carmelo is saying, turn him off, Dom. Speaking of Mazzari, blah, blah, blah. We are not a top four team, no way. And to think we were a top five in Europe 12 months ago, this is the biggest demise of a team in a very long time. This is on ADL. Guys, I couldn't agree more of the fact that we are no longer a top team in Europe. If you guys watched the video yesterday when I was doing the Champions League draw, I put Napoli as a 2 out of 4 star team. And a lot of people in the comments, in the live chat, and afterwards were saying, how can you say that Napoli is only a 2 star team? Well, guys, we have a lot of problems. A lot of problems. Way more than some of the other teams that are so called, you know, um, that not that are so called, but the other teams that have problems like Barcelona and PSG. Yes, they have problems, but nowhere near like us. Nowhere near like us. Guys, let's go straight into the match analysis, because we need to discuss what happened very quickly, the first half, and then how it all changed in the second. There's a lot of comments. I wish I could take all of you guys. I want to shout out Mike for the $2 donation and saying, what did I miss? Well, okay, here here we go. Tri says Cahusa and Lindstrom had absolutely nothing to this team. I would agree about Lindstrom based on his performances so far. Cahus actually, for me, was one of the best players on the field up until the first half, and we'll see why. I have the stats to back it up. Cremonese looks so strong. Frosinone, I mean, Cremonese beat us last year, and it was the starters that when the starters came on that we lost. Lobotka missing a famous penalty under the rain, all that stuff. Guys, Mazzarri is still talking on the television. I'm so tempted to unmute this guy on the television, because I think he's saying some nice golden things. Golden things. Some. It's golden content is what I meant to say, because he's used to just talking talking random things. But anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, same mistakes as last year versus Cremonese. Aaron is saying Garcia in. It's bad, guys. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Anyways, let's go to what happened. So let's go to Napoli's first goal that then got disallowed. So let's talk about it because this could have put the game in a completely different matter, in a completely different direction if it didn't get disallowed. Zanoli takes the ball and just boots it upfield, and then the Frosinone defender gets to there first and does a back pass to Simeone. Simeone does well to beat his man and score, but the goal gets cancelled because of Lindstrom's handball in the build up to this goal. You can clearly see the ball bounces up, hits his arm, and bounces off his arm in the direction opposite to his arm. It's very clear that his arm is the most contributing factor there. It would have been a different story had the ball bounced in that direction, because then it would have been in the direction opposite his chest. So you would have said, "Oh, it's a chest. There's nothing to do with the arm." But because it goes in that direction, then it's clearly because his arm is kind of going like that and pushing the ball to his left hand side. But I mean, even the build up to that goal, you can't really say we deserved it. I mean, it was a clear Frosinone mistake. Zanoli's hopeful lunge into the space. I mean, guys, this isn't the Bundesliga, right? We can't just run into empty space like that without expecting some defenders to close it up. All right, so I don't know what Zanoli was trying to do there. Um, but yeah, now let's go to some some other interesting things. Or I don't know why this thing is cropped right now. All right, it's a weird thing that happened, but bear with me. Cahoust, I thought was playing a decent game in the first half. This is the highlights or the statistics up until the first half. Cahoust was all over the field. I liked him. Zanoli, I don't know why this is. Let me see if I can improve that. Zanoli, on the other hand, I didn't like him today. I thought that he was not pushing forward enough, and you can see here from his heat map that he's not pushing forward enough. There's a lot of just empty space in that final third. I mean, he was mainly, his heat map mainly shows that he was in his own half. And for a guy that we associate to someone that pushes forward, that tries to, make something happen, he didn't dribble or have enough presence up top enough. Anyways, let's go to some other key stats of the first half that I wanted to show that actually we weren't playing too bad with the people that we don't normally see. For example, Cahoust, 100% pass accuracy. Demme, 95% pass accuracy. The other midfielder out of those three was Gaetano, 75% pass accuracy. Now, why did I want to highlight this? Because it's actually Gaetano that stays on to the field, and it's Demme that gets substituted off. Cahoust, I can't remember if he gets substituted off or if he stays the full game, but he definitely then declines in the second half. But Demme and Cahoust in the first half were not playing too bad. I also want to highlight the dribbled attempts on the right hand side. It just really wasn't working for us. We've got Lindstrom and Zanoli, zero dribbles completed for two guys that need to prove themselves. The two guys that need to prove themselves the most, maybe, in this team, that are fighting the most for minutes, that people think have a realistic chance of maybe, you know, pushing a little bit more the starters, even though in maybe not for Zanoli, but let's say for Lindstrom, this is really bad against the Frosinone team. To have zero successful dribbles is pretty bad. I want to highlight Cahoust instead, who had 2 out of 2 successful dribbles. That was quite nice. And then I want to highlight key passes. Demme and Cahoust, 2 key passes. So again, those two were playing well in the midfield, in my opinion. Zanoni and Lindstrom, again, zero crosses as well. So not only zero successful dribbles, but also zero crosses, zero attempted crosses as well. At least Mario Rui attempted 2 crosses. They didn't go well, but at least he attempted them down the left hand side. Raspadori, 2 attempted crosses on the left hand side, 1 being successful. But on the right hand side, with Zanoli and Lindstrom, absolutely Zero productivity from the both of them. However, as Sunnable Flames is saying, Raspadori was selfish on many occasions, quite wasteful. Yeah, I mean, we attempted a few shots with him, and it didn't quite work out. Gutted for the fans who stood in the cold to watch this crap. 100%, 100%. Anthony G says, if you're saying Frosinone aren't a bad team, please stop watching this team. Napoli's defending champ should be beating a team like this. Yeah, 100%. I mean, Frosinone is not the worst team in the world. It's not last year's Cremonese, who was literally dead last, 20th. Frosinone is at least 13th. But the difference between these two teams is abysmal. I mean, when you take a look at Napoli's starting 11, they should be winning 2, even 3-0 against this Frosinone side last year when confidence was high, things were going well. That's exactly what was happening. But this year, just something isn't quite right. And it's more than just the coach. It's more that there's just, when you lose 4-0 at home against a team like this, there's just something clearly off. Thanks for the therapy session today. Forza Napoli sempre, says Aaron. Thank you, man, for the $20 donation. I wanna get to all of your comments, guys, but I'm conflicted between reading all your comments and getting through the analysis. Let me just get through the analysis and then I'll read some of your comments. Mario Rui comes back from injury last week or on the weekend, starts again, plays actually not too bad, hits the post. I mean, at this point, we had hit the post with Raspadori, we hit the post with Mario Rui. It's the 60th minute mark. Now it's time to get serious. Let's put on Di Lorenzo for Mario Rui. Let's put on Lobotka for Demme. Let's put on Cannavaro for Raspadori. Let's put on Osimhen for Simeone. Surely Napoli at this point are gonna win. No, actually, we concede 4 goals. The first one, horrible man marking here, because I don't have a problem with man marking, but you got to make sure that you cover the area as well. And it's clear that there was an area of the field completely uncovered. Either that, or we were completely exposed. In we I don't even know, guys. Like, my mind can't even comprehend what's happening. I don't know if what I'm saying even makes sense. But yeah, um, clearly something didn't work out here. Then Di Lorenzo makes this back pass, which is very not typical of Di Lorenzo. I mean, he could have passed it to Nathan. He could have done a better job with his back pass. I don't know why he's made this mistake. It's so unlike him, but it comes back down to the fact that these are starters that did not come onto the field concentrated enough. It's simply that. Because even in the previous case, I mean, the guys that are supposed to be defending here are Di Lorenzo, are Osimhen, and they didn't turn up. They didn't switch on fast enough. Here, Di Lorenzo wasn't switched on, wasn't in the rhythm of the game. Then, obviously, Frosinone score this goal. There was more chances for Frosinone to score. Here, in the 83rd minute, a counter attack, and Gollini does well to save this. But then Di Lorenzo, when he gets put on the right hand side, the one that's his right hand side, and they switch Zanoli to the left, it doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. He's late to this tackle. Again, it's like you're not in the same rhythm as everybody else. It seems like Frosinone was going at 2x speed at this point, and our reactions were slow from the guys that came on. Obviously, they score that penalty, it's 3-0, and then we lose the ball with Kvara. Kvara and Zanoli not really understanding each other. They lose the ball, Frosinone counter, and boom, it's 4-0 in the 95th minute, and it's selfie time. It's selfie time, guys. Selfie time. Di Lorenzo, awful. I didn't even do player ratings today because you guys know You guys know that there's gonna be a lot of zeros, and I just couldn't be bothered. I just couldn't be bothered, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm not wasting my time, even if it's 5 seconds. I'm not wasting my time putting a bunch of zeros on a screen. All right, I got better things to do. I have an exam 9:15 a.m. tomorrow. That's the last thing I wanted to do before an exam. Put a bunch of zeros on Di Lorenzo's name. I'd rather just not put it. I'd rather just not put it. Um, Worst play by Di Lorenzo, Lobotka, and Nathan. Yeah, that was bad. Paolo saying, I knew right before the corner that we would concede. No movement, no aggression, no communication, and just a bunch of substitutions right before that corner with Di Lorenzo, Kvara, and Osimhen all coming in. It's always tough defending the first few set pieces when you make substitutions. They say never make a substitution right before a set piece. Because of that, it wasn't quite on the set piece that the substitution was made, but there was a lot of there was a high probability that this would have happened. Actually, no. What am I saying? Why am I saying that there was a high probability that we would concede against Frosinone? The context is there was a high probability that this would happen because we gave the wrong message, or Mazzarri gave the wrong message to the guys that came on by saying, listen, we're gonna put the B team. It should be enough, and if not, we'll put you guys on. It's not really how it goes, right? You give the starters a false sense of strength, and they don't go hyped up into the game. Mazzarri needs to go, says Payman. What what do you do now? What I mean, even if you fire Mazzarri, like now what? Now now what? Now we bring Tudor or Conte. I mean, can we do that? Like, should we? Should we be changing again? On the one hand, you might say, look, the season still has, there's a lot to play still. So if we think that Mazzari has to go, then he has to go, right? It's still December. We can still turn things around. We still got a Champions League to play. We've still got fourth spot to win. On the other hand, on the other hand, a third coach, that's another 1 month adaptation period. It's another set of new ideas, another set of, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. And then with the new coach, I mean, it all depends on who's it gonna be, right? Who's it gonna be? Mazzari will not finish top four, he insists. I think the game against Roma will be a huge one. The thing is that for me, I still think we will finish top four, just because I can't see the other teams being consistently better than us. I mean, Roma, no way. No way, Roma. I mean, they are Dybala, Lukaku dependent. Either one of those two goes missing, they're done. Bologna, I can't imagine this Bologna team going all the way. Lazio, let's not even talk about it. Fiorentina is as inconsistent as us. So, yeah, let's get some more comments. The ones that came a little bit earlier. We learned nothing from last year's round of 16, says Mr. Wan54. Justin Giuliano says, and I have never shook my head during a match more than this one. It was diabolical. I think the season is in total jeopardy now. No way we pass Barcelona, and top four is 100% our risk, says Anthony Navarro. Losing at home should be a once in a blue moon, and now I feel like it's every time we play. 6 losses before Christmas. This is possibly one of our worst home records in the Serie A, like in Serie A history for Napoli. Like, I'm not even, well, this game technically doesn't count as being part of Serie A, but let's just say Serie A plus, let's just say all competitions combined, this could be one of our worst home ratios ever in a season. Passing accuracy was like 10%. Mazzari needs to go. Never liked the appointment. He's worse than Garcia. He thinks coaching is hugging players. The thing is that this is what most upsets me is that Mazzari was supposed to come into this team and give these guys if anything, a bit of mentality. And I do think I disagree with you on the fact that mentality is, because you insist that mentality is nothing, right? You've Payment's always been a believer that it's all about the tactics and all that, and I'm a huge fan of tactics and all that. But I do think that football is mental a lot of the time. And I thought, okay, maybe if Mazzari can bring us back to believing in ourselves, we would be better, right? And bringing some grinta and some fight and some spirit, then we could be better than at least Garcia, and that would be enough at least for top four. But when you lose 4-0 at home to Frosinone, then it's clear that he's failed on the one task that he was supposed to do here, which is to work on the mentality of these players. Because if we lose 4-0, it can't be because of just tactics and all that. It has to be because mentally we were just not there. Like you you can't fail tactically that bad, in my opinion. I think there was just these starters came onto the field after the 60th minute mark, and they just were not focused. We have Supercoppa Italiana. Yeah, let's see. Apparently, De Laurentiis is saying how he doesn't want to go and play it because he doesn't like the fields in Saudi Arabia, this and that. Demme was the only good player on the field. Yeah, I agree. Demme wasn't bad. Demme wasn't bad at all. Demme and Cahoust were actually not bad in the first half. Demme was having a good game. He was actually putting in the effort. Lobotka underestimated the game. And yeah, I mean, I don't understand why we didn't play more of them. Why there was this need to put in Lobotka so early on. Today was simply horrendous. Only player who did anything positive was Cahoust. So yeah, it's clear that Cahoust and them are the two players that played the best for Napoli. Uomini forti, destini forti, uomini deboli, destini deboli, non c'è altra strada. Spalletti's quote. It seems like these players, maybe not the players, but maybe something happened that made them weaker, man. I don't like to say that these are weak players because they're not. I mean, they were players that were strong last year, man. They were strong last year. Ah, worst match of the season. Yep, says Val by far. Losing at home 4-0 and trying to win against Barcelona. Yeah, that's just never gonna happen. If we play like this, Barcelona's going to score 8 on us. That was an absolute embarrassment, says Sam. Team shows no passion. I'm not sure what we have left to play for at this point. Not enough signings are possible to change this team around in January. Yeah, who do we sign? And I heard that Elmas might leave. I don't know. Honestly, today I'm a bit lost for words because how do you fix this? How do you fix this? How do you fix a team that's broken? Just broken. The whole idea of experimenting with tier two players is just not acceptable. They do this with Coppa Italia, always even Spalletti did the same. The problem is not it's not the tier two players. The problem is the starters that come on and they're just not motivated enough, and that's when we lose the game. Any team can come to our stadium and beat us right now, 100%. We are more likely to win away from home than at home. At home, we are under pressure paralysis. We are crumbling under pressure. Deserved that first goal when we were playing with nil-nil. We almost always end up losing. The Bologna game is one where I actually kept it nil-nil. I'm surprised we didn't lose to Bologna. Bologna, who are sitting fourth, probably the best team we've played against this year away from home, and we managed not to lose there. No Chucky, no party. Yeah, I mean, as much as I didn't like Chucky because from a skill-wise point of view, I didn't like him. What Chucky gave this Napoli team was a bit of spirit. He was always giving his 100% and fighting and tackling and getting fouls. There's a severe lack of getting fouls this year that Chucky was always able to bring to the table. You play Chucky, we would have 3, 4 fouls a game in our favor. which would always help us. And he was aggressive. He was an aggressive player. I liked it. The hate in this chat makes me sad. Stop saying Rasbank, Aus and Limstra, yeah, ha 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 ha. Team needed to look more like a group operation. We moved to Rome. I mean, look, guys, it's a sad chat because it's a sad day. We lost 4-0. To be fair, actually, I think most people are being quite conservative, to be honest, after losing 4-0. Di Lorenzo the last 2 months has been shocking. Not not good this season. It's not been his best season. He made a similar mistake. Well, not a similar mistake, but a mistake against Real Madrid, which cost us in the first game against them, and all that. And yeah, it's just not been his best year. Also, the fact that he didn't get the armband from Gaetano, like that was another moment of the game that I didn't like. Your captain comes onto the field, all right, guys? Your captain comes on. He should be getting the armband. What is this thing about Gaetano having the armband just because his mother gave birth to him in Naples? Come on. Your captain, your real captain, is on the field. Give him the captain's armband. Why is Di Lorenzo giving the captain's armband to Gaetano or letting him have it? This isn't a charity match. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the mentality of some of these players and the mentality that they had in today's game. Because if you enter the field and you think that this is a goddamn charity match, then that's what happens. And Di Lorenzo giving the captain's armband or letting Gaetano have the captain's armband just shows that it's a charity match for them. The attackers don't know how to defend. Elmas and Raspadori at least try to pressure. Elmas unfortunately injured. Very bad, says Fabrizio Landria. Fabrizio, I hope you weren't at the stadium for this one today. Bro, I don't think Kvara is staying next season. Honestly, guys, at this point, if you're Kvara or Simen, you're just seeing your stock price go down like crazy this season. And, now teams might be looking at them as cheaper options than they were maybe this summer. Um, with a chance for them to, in a better team, in a better context, be able to bring them back to the level that they were last season. So it could be a bargain. Nathan was good, but one goal was entirely on him today. Guys, I'm not gonna blame Nathan for pretty much anything this season just because he's literally like the youngest kid out there, got catapulted from Brazil to Italy, is trying his best. There's way worse problems than Nathan. I mean, the problem is not so much Nathan. The problem is who decided that it was a good idea to have Nathan there in the first place when you're trying to replace the best center back in the world, Kim. The problem is not Nathan. The problem is De Laurentiis. So I refuse to blame it on the kid. He's just a kid. Um, I think the problem lies on whoever put him there and also on other players that are meant to be, the ones leading by example, such as Di Lorenzo, but they're having really bad seasons actually. Simeone is a decent backup, but no way we should build a team around him. I don't think Napoli would do that. I want a brand new Napoli with a fresh coach this summer. Yeah, I think I think this game, regardless of what happens, if we get fourth or if we do well in the Champions League, honestly, I can't imagine that Laurentiis looks at this game right now and doesn't already make plans for next summer, knowing full well, okay, Mazzarri, that's it, we're done. Like, I'm not saying to fire him now, but I'm saying from now you should already start to look at 100% the replacement for him because we can't have a repeat of this. And yeah, I mean, we need better. We need better. So there's no point anymore in waiting. Had we won today, then we could have said, "Oh well, we beat Frosinone. Who knows? Maybe we win the Coppa Italia with Mazzarri. Maybe we get fourth spot plus a Coppa Italia plus who knows a quarter final of the Champions League." And all of a sudden, you're looking at a pretty successful season, kind of. And so you might think to confirm Mazzarri, but getting knocked out in the Coppa Italia again at this point, like this 4-0, he's blown it. He's blown it because you're not going to win the title. You're probably not going to beat Barcelona if you play like this. So, yeah, don't you dare call Kvara awful. No, he's not. He's not awful, guys. He's not. He's not. Guys like the video. Listen to Payman. Listen to Payman. Do you want Mazzari to buy players in Jan? Elmas also leaving. Mazzari, look, do I want Mazzari to buy players? I don't know. I don't know if we should buy players based on Mazzari's vision of football. What I would like to see, and this is pure utopia, because it's not how it's going to work for Napoli, but I would like to see the sporting director dictate who we buy, and that's based off a medium to long term plan. So, a sporting director that is able to build a project, build a team, you know, without waiting for the summer. He says, look, okay, this year it went bad. Let's start rebuilding. Let's bring in players that are ready starting now, but that have potential to grow in the medium to long term. Players that are functional to this team. I have an idea in mind on who the next coach will be and what system he will play and what style of football he wants, and so we're building this project starting from January. Unfortunately, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that Meluso has any say in who we buy, and I don't think there's any mid to long term plan because there is none. We don't know who the coach is going to be in the medium to long term. Um, and yeah, so it's going to be a struggle this January. It's going to be a real struggle. Mike, once again, thank you so much for your donation and to support for your support to this channel. I really do appreciate it. Says vibes killed once ADL refused to pay Spalletti. All culture is top down. Look at Man U since 2013, or in contrast clubs like Bayern with solid identity. I like this idea of talking about top down, bottom up cultures and identity. Napoli's this is my phone saying it's bedtime. Little bedtime music. Um I like that idea because I think it explains a lot. Bayern had a rough patch last year. You could say they're also having a rough patch this year to some extent. But through their identity, they've been able to at least say, all right, we have a rough patch. We have a bit of a coaching problem. We don't know Tuchel if he's the right man for the job, and even though he's just came in, but we know who we are. We are Bayern Munich, and we're gonna buy these type of players, these type of profiles, and they go and they buy the best attacker. They go and they buy the best defender, and they keep their identity with their identity was, for example, they've always had a great number nine. Bayern. They had Klose, they had Gomez, they had Lewandowski, right? They tried last year with Choupo-Moting and playing a false number nine, sometimes with Musiala, sometimes with Sané, sometimes with Mané, and it just didn't work. It wasn't part of Bayern's identity. So now this year they said, no, you know what? We're gonna go back to that that proper number nine, and they went and bought Harry Kane. So proper identity, proper project. Um, even teams like, and you might say, well, that's kind of cheating because because Bayern has the financial capacity to do all this, blah 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 blah. Okay, let's take another club as an example. Let's take Tottenham. Tottenham is a team that doesn't like to spend very much. I mean, they do because they're in the Premier League, but I mean, relatively to some of the other Premier League spenders, they don't. What is their identity? Their identity is to play fast, attractive football. They diverted from that identity with Mourinho and with Conte, and they were going downhill. As soon as they went back to their core, which is playing like how Pochettino did and how they used to play back in the day, attractive football, then with Ange, the new coach, they've been able to go back on the rise, and they have a roadmap. You know, it might not be something that brings them success because the Premier League is full of top teams, but at least they have a roadmap. They have a clear way that they like to play football. Um, Napoli is kind of like that. We need to find a coach that makes us play nice, attractive football. That's been the case since Benitez, Sarri, and all these guys that have done well. They've been playing attractive, fast, nice football. All the ones that have tried to do something different have done really bad and set us back. But that's where having a guy like Giuntoli is super important because the person that decides this, that really makes sure that they buy players based on the identity of the club, is the sporting director. Um, so yeah, I'm worried about Meluso, man. I'm worried about Meluso. Club culture and clear ideas. Yeah. What is the idea behind Napoli? See, if we replace Mazzarri, for example, and we go and get Conte, or we go and get Tudor, is that something that aligns with Napoli's core? Is playing three at the back something that these players, this crowd wants to see? I don't know. I don't know. I would rather go for a a guy that maybe has less experience but plays more to our style, that has you know the willingness to play attractive football and take a risk on him than someone like Conte, for example. So for now, I would prefer Tego Motta or even Palladino from Monza. Those kind of guys, I think, just fit our culture more. Appreciate you, Don, for still going live after this atrocious performance. You guys have no idea the struggle, guys. The struggle of today. All right, I have my tongue that's hurting like crazy. I couldn't even speak on on Saturday, so I didn't do the Cagliari game. It still hurts, and I'm speaking. We lost 4-0. I have an exam. I have two exams tomorrow. The first one in 9 hours. But I am here. I am here with you because we need this therapy, guys. We need this therapy. All right? We need it. I need it. I would not be able to sleep without this therapy. We have no stadium, no youth academies, no sporting project. ADL needs to go. This is this is another thing, right? So right now, if we want to talk like seriously talk about Napoli as a business, all right? Because we're talking about, things like core competencies and strategic direction. All right, let's talk about it as a business, no? And what are Napoli's No, let's start off with, what does Napoli pride itself in, or De Laurentiis pride itself in? The fact that it has no debts, no liabilities, all right? Which is great to some extent, because it depends, right? Sometimes getting a little bit of a debt so that you can pay for things like stadium infrastructure or youth academy and all these long-term projects actually could be very good use of capital. But De Laurentiis wants to control everything. He doesn't. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to use money that is not his. Let's put it that way. And so we're stuck in this like very limited funding cycle, right? Now, how do you get out of that situation then? You have to win. You have to rely purely on your assets. You need guys like Kvara that you buy at 10 and you sell at 100. And that's great. You can do that if the team functions well. But the moment that this team starts functioning badly, this guy that went from 10 to 100 now goes from 100 to 70. So your asset value is always like your market asset value is always just fluctuating the whole time based on whether we win or lose, and every month it's like plus or minus 30%. And you can't run a business like that. You can't. Like this should not be how you run a club. The club should have so many layers that has so many layers of foundation that if a player goes up or down, if the players go up and down 30%, there's still like 80% which is untouched, such as having your own stadium infrastructure, having your own youth academy, having a bunch of like 13, 14-year olds ready to burst onto the scene every year. Okay, maybe not 13, but 16-year olds like Barcelona. If you have that, then all of a sudden you are basically, you know, immune, not immune, but you're hedged against results like these that bring the entire squad value down, and then all of a sudden everything that you did last year that you've accumulated is gone. And you're left with nothing. You're left with a sack of potatoes. And yeah, yeah, I mean that got very technical. That got very technical, but I mean, I hope you guys followed that. Um, but yeah, but yeah. Have you got an exam tomorrow? I do, but it's fine. It's fine. I got my studying done today, so it's cool. It's cool. Plus, I don't like to, in general, I don't like to study for exams like the night before. So it's cool. Dom is better than Meret. Yes. The stadium is owned by the city, though. I know. But, I mean, there are ways that you could build your own stadium. If you if you take out a loan, if you take out a loan and you decide to invest in a proper stadium, that's something that stays with you, that protects the club, that you can use to generate other sorts of revenues throughout the year. But if you're just gonna play in the city stadium, then you're kind of stuck. You're kind of stuck with just match day ticket sales. But yeah, and De Laurentiis is saying that he wants the city stadium to go to him, and he wants the city to just give him the stadium for free. And he's like, once you do that, then I'll do all these renovations on the stadium. But like, guys, come on, like he just thinks he owns the city. Like they're never gonna do that, and he's wasting time fighting that battle. So yeah, potatoes are tasty though. Yeah, yeah. Ossie is going to Arsenal. I don't know what they say about that, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, I do think that Ossie is, regardless of his contract renewal, is probably gonna go. He's been with us 4 years now. I mean, it's also fair enough to the guy. He's won us a Scudetto. Let him, let him go if he wants to go. Let him go. He's done what he needs to do. Adele has no plans or interest in a stadium. Even when he talked about it 10 years ago, the sports director Marino said he has no plans. Yeah, he has no plans because he doesn't want to invest long term into this team. He just wants to go in 2, 3 year cycles, and that's about it. A stadium is a much longer term investment, and then he doesn't want the hassle of, like, if he decides to sell Napoli today, he could do that. He could close the deal in a few months. You say you want to sail, you get the right people involved, 6 months, you're sold. And you walk away. You walk away, right? What happens if he decides to buy a stadium or build a stadium? It makes everything just that much more difficult, I would say. Um, because all of a sudden now you're looking at buyers who need to also buy the stadium, right? So people with deeper pockets, there are out there. The Qataris, the Saudis, PIF, all these guys, right? They're out there. Some Chinese and Americans probably, but obviously it's a much smaller net. So I think Adiele just wants to keep his options more open, and probably that's why he hasn't invested in the stadium. Vincenzo Bertillo, thank you, man, for the 13.99 Canadian dollars and for supporting the channel. Dom, you need to sit down with Adiele when we play Barcelona and get hired as our sporting director and tell the ladies to stop biting your tongue. Um, the actually, it would be nice to see Adiele in person one day and have a sit down with him and really really, like, if I can get that to happen, guys, if I can get that to happen on this show, a one-on-one coffee chat with Adiele, that would be something. I would probably get like 5 extra subscribers. That would be cool. That would be cool. I hope you guys are subscribing, guys. All these all these comments, all these things, everybody that has commented better have liked this video, guys. 54 likes and 70 viewers. Come on, guys. Those are rookie numbers, rookie like numbers. Come on. Come on. Letting Cristiano Giuntoli go was a bad idea. Yeah, letting him go and not having a replacement. I I kept saying it, um I said it in a video this summer. I said what De Laurentiis is trying to do is either going to be studied in the history books as him being the greatest mind to ever exist, because if he makes this work, then it's amazing, or it's going to be the biggest classical example of I told you so, because he's basically got rid of very competent people such as Spalletti, Giuntoli, the athletic preparation guy, just a bunch of people got rid of, and he's made his operation, like his management team, like super small, just him and his family, and it just doesn't work that way. And then he's put in a guy like Meluso, who, I mean, this guy was away for 2 years, was the sporting director for like Spezia. Like Spezia had always been in like Serie B, and it's different from Giuntoli. I mean, yeah, Giuntoli came from Carpi and all that, but Giuntoli was someone that was the best in Italy, even though he was coming from Carpi. He was already the best in Italy, according to people that work in the sector. He was the one that knew the most number of agents and players and all that in all of Italy. He was young, so it's a natural career path that he then goes and builds on that experience. And Napoli gave him a platform. But this other guy, Meluso, he's like a dinosaur. Like, what's he doing? Like, what's he doing now? At that age, coming to Napoli, his first big club. Like, no offense to anyone who's a bit on the older side, but I mean, come on, come on. There's a clear career path, and that one should follow, and the one that Meluso took is it's just not it's just not it's just not for Napoli. It's not for a team like Napoli. I don't know. I don't know. I prefer no dirty money at this club. Would prefer to be in Serie B. Yeah, I would love I would love for Napoli to be acquired by like a proper good um you know businessman, woman, family, or that just really has Napoli's long-term future at heart, and has a project for Napoli, for the city, for the fans, for the stadium. That would be nice. So yeah, maybe you know who I want, guys. I'll show you who I want. 1 second. This is my dream, guys. I'll show you right here, right now. My dream owner for Napoli is this guy, Papa Jeff. My name Jeff Bezos, guys. This is this is what we need. We need Jeff, guys. That's what we need. Smash the like button if you want Jeff. Smash the like button if you want Jeff. All right? That's what we need. That's what we need. We need someone that will take us to the next level. No oil money. Exactly. Just pure book money, guys. Just pure, you know, old school just selling books. Just doing just doing a little bit of a selling book activity. Uh, Actually, no, it's more like anything but books now, Amazon, with all the cloud stuff, and man, they have so many things going on. But yeah, I mean, how awesome would it be if if he takes over? No, someone like that, someone like a real, like a truly public figure like that, I think would be awesome, because I think the not only the boost it would give to Napoli's image would be insane, but also, I mean, these people are people that do care about their reputation, and they have so much money to spend that they would go and buy a stadium, just like that from one day to the other, or build it from one day to the other, because then there's like these, like, I call them like amateur, not amateur, but like these like wannabe billionaires. Let's call them like that, which is funny because I mean they're like a million times more net worth than all of us put together. But these wannabe billionaires that like buy teams like Milan or Inter, like Zhang and the guy from Milan, who are like they want to play with the big boys. They want to own football clubs and sports teams, but they're not the ballers like Jeff. I mean, can you imagine we got this guy who's like a half cyborg. I mean, look at it. Look at it. One of his eyes is bigger than the other eye. I mean, he's one eye is in the present and the other eye is looking into the future. It's scary. Um, if we get one of these guys in, that would be insane. Then then we're cooking. Then we're cooking. Anyways, we're diverting. Doctor Evil. Yeah, 100%. Um, Amazon money is only a little less dirty in reality. Yeah, I know. I know, but still, what money isn't dirty? Technically speaking. Come on. Come on. Very philosophical today. Feeling very philosophical. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Probably there is a lot of money that isn't dirty actually, but still, he's an alligator or something. Yeah, I know. He's well, I would say he's a lizard, but the last time I made a video and I said that someone was a lizard, then some people got very offended by the fact that I called said person a lizard. So I'm not gonna call anybody a lizard. So alligator will have to do. The owners of Chelsea are spending huge, but still suck though. Doesn't always guarantee success. Yeah, because Chelsea are another team that has no project, man. Actually, you know what? You know what? The Chelsea the Chelsea thing is a very interesting one because I mean, clearly the guy that went there and got Chelsea just saw it as just like a great opportunity, great investment opportunity. Because Chelsea needed to sell, and guys, he bought a club, Chelsea. Like, okay, maybe not. Maybe you guys don't know, but Roman Abramovich had like I think over £1 billion in debt when he was the owner of Chelsea. So because he was spending on all these players and whatever, right? Chelsea was, they were doing their thing year to year, but they had accumulated over time this £1 billion of long-term debt. And when Abramovich decided to sell Chelsea, he paid that off himself. He didn't he basically like wiped it out for the new owner. So the new owner got everything of Chelsea, the stadium, the players, the whatever you want, the training facility, all that, without having to worry about paying back the £1 billion of debt. So he basically got Chelsea at a £1 billion discount compared to what it cost to to do it in a normal situation. Moreover, like he just bought it at like the price of whatever the things were worth. There was no like negotiating from Abramovich. So Abramovich took away the debt that he had, and also didn't like try to, up the price of like I don't know if the stadium's worth 50. It's not like he was saying, oh no, it's worth 60. No, if it's 50, he sold it at 50, right? So it was a massively good deal for the new Chelsea owner. Basically bought it at a huge discount, even though it's huge amounts of money. So it kind of justifies also all the spending that he's doing, but also it means that it attracted the wrong type of people because all of a sudden you've just got a guy who's I think seeing this as just some kind of like investment opportunity and not really as a place to build a culture of the club and I don't know, like thinking real long term. Um, he's just seeing it as a quick like I think pump and dump, but I don't know. I don't know. That's just my theory on it. So yeah, bro, Mule has more knowledge in football than Chelsea new owner. And now the current president is going back into 1 billion debt. Yeah, I mean he's spending a lot of, but even then, right? He's spending a lot on players, but he's doing a really good job with their contracts. He's giving them these like crazy contracts, and then like 8 years to amortize it. So, um, like he's buying players for like 100 million, but he's amortizing it over 8 years. So is it really that expensive? I don't know. Obviously, if the player doesn't work out, then you have a player under contract for 8 years. But these are all young players. You could, in theory, put them out on loan like 3, 4 seasons, and still hope that they come good, and then they would still come back to you with 3, 4 years still to give you. Um, so I mean, you can experiment a lot in 8 years to try to build a player up. You're not so tightly pressed for time as when you buy a player for 4 years. So, anyways, I don't think Chelsea is doing that bad of a strategy. But yeah, let's see how that goes. Anyways, thanks to Abramovich, we also got Kvara on the cheap. That's true. His buddy decided to go a little crazy, didn't he? And caused a lot of problems. Caused a lot of problems, and one of the benefits of this really sad situation is that we managed to get Kvara for cheap because he couldn't play in the Russian league anymore. So yeah, I guess I guess that's that. Amazon is heavily invested in the Bay of Naples. I believe Naples is their Mediterranean hub. So Amazon with Napoli and Naples has a bit of an interesting relationship. There is also like a mini Amazon University in Naples, where like, I don't know if to call it universities or like where people can do like a master's degree or something like that. I think it is where you can it's like led by Apple, and you can like learn to make apps specifically for Apple and be a developer for Apple specifically, and this course is in Naples. Um, so yeah, I mean, clearly they know that we exist at least. So who knows? Maybe Jeff will be our savior in a few years. Mike, thank you again. So many donations, man. I can only hope you come to Europe sometime soon so I can offer you a beer or two. Says Gennaro Savastano is rumored to buy the club. He's Neapolitan but big in the Milan real estate market, or so he says. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm telling, GoFundMe, cleanest it can get. Honestly, yeah. But even then, right? Even then, you start a GoFundMe page, you get all this money. What if, what if some like I don't know gangster is putting money in this GoFundMe? Then it's technically not clean money. So I'm telling you guys, it's hard to find 100% clean money. Um, let's bring Abramovich. I mean, I mean, imagine in a few years' time, things go back to normal. He wants to come back into the scene, wants to buy another club, can't buy Chelsea. Been there, done that. He remembers of this Chelsea blue, and it's like, okay, what other team is blue? Oh, is that Napoli over there? It's blue as well. Oh, yeah, let's do it. Maybe. That's enough, Dom. We need an A on that exam tomorrow to avenge this loss. Exactly. Guys, this exam tomorrow, these two exams tomorrow are gonna be, just just what I need. Just what I need after today. Just what I need. I just want to sit down for 2 hours and write stuff. And just write. I'm probably gonna comment on the lack of minutes by Lindstrom, and then no, actually I'm not gonna I'm not gonna complain about that because he was bad today. He was bad today. He was bad. Lindstrom was bad today. Bocca al lupo, Dom. Crepi in lupo. I said you start it and money doesn't stink it. I thought Cahus was brilliant tonight, aside from the abysmal performance of the team. 100%, guys. 100%. As I mean, maybe you came late. Maybe you came late, but Cahust was actually for those that came late, guys. Cahust this is up until the first half, but up until the first half, before things went horribly bad, the most key passes, the most successful dribbles, 100% pass accuracy. Cahust was like kind of bossing it today. So, you know, not bad. Not bad from Cahust, but The rest of the team, ay ay ay, ay ay ay. I don't even know. I don't even know, man. Mazzari shouldn't have subbed the bench players so early. To be honest, it was clear that the starters didn't prepare this game at all. They were clueless and extremely nervous for the result. Obviously, yeah. I think it also like apart from them maybe not being like hyped up enough because you send the wrong signal. I think the whole thing about the added pressure is also true. Like you're putting a lot of pressure on those guys because you are basically saying, all right, it's 0-0. Now you guys come on and you better show that you can win this game because if these guys, or at least not lose this game, because if these guys were at 0-0, you guys better at least keep it that way or win. No? So, I mean, it's a lot of pressure. It's no excuse though. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to justify them a little bit, but it's no excuse. It was bad. It was bad. Anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. Thank you for listening in. We've been ranting a little bit on different things. So why don't we wrap it up there and then yeah, I'll see you guys soon. And as always, Forza Napoli sempre. Ciao.